All right. We are gonna go over. We're gonna go over this one, and we're gonna go over a couple other questions. You have questions, so let's start with the first one. The first one says. I'm gonna start here. The first one says g of 0. Well, that means -3 to 0 of f of t dt. And that's equal to, well, if it's going to the 0 from -3, what am I going to get? Between -3 to 0, what am I going to get? Huh? 9/2. Okay, yeah, 9/2 is right because it's going to give you a spaces here is 1, 2, 3. And this is going to be 3/2. So it's going to be 9/2. AP counting. Yay. Yeah. G prime of 0. Well, G prime of 0 is, in this case is going to be f of 0, which is equal to 1. Easy 2 points. You can do this all day long, right? B. Huh? This is actual FRQ from AP exam.
Pardon?
Yeah.
This is an FRQ?
Yeah.
I love the FRQ.
You just say people says I love FRQ.
Please don't gonna love FRQs more than XCQs now.
Find all the value x which interval attain relative maximum. So attain relative maximum, and where will that be? Okay, so what do you think is?
Just x equal to 3.
X equal to 3, you just earned on the point. And they say justify. You're gonna say g prime of x changing from positive to negative. And that's how you get the. So this is going to be +1, this is a +1, this is a +1, and this is a +1. Or f of x change from positive to negative. Okay, then you just get like 4 points already. C. Find the absolute minimum value of g at -4 to -5 to -4. The problem of this part is people need to understand when they reach minimum, it's going to be from negative to positive. Does that make sense? Do you have any negative to positive here? It's at -4? Okay, so you're going to say at x equal to -4, and you're going to justify. Hold on a second. I'm not sure about that. Let's go back and look at this. If I'm going to, when they have absolute minimum value, you are going to do a table. Okay, so table. That's the best way to justify. And we're going to say x and g of x. So when is negative, we say negative what? 4, right? Yeah. -4 is going to be from -3 to -4 of ft dt. Then that's equal to negative from -4 to -3 of ft dt. Do you see that boundary is need a switch? So it's above x-axis, so it's gonna be 1, so it'll be a -1. Should you check the endpoint? Yes, you should check the endpoint at -5. But at -5 end up to be 0. So you have to justify that. right? The table is a good justification. Remember, table is a good justification. And you're gonna say um, what happened at 4? Well, at 4, you're gonna plug in. You're gonna say, what is g of 4? So what is negative 3 to 4 of ft dt? We start at negative 3, right? So we know this is 9 over 2. And we know this part is 2 minus pi. Does that make sense? And that top part and bottom part kind of cancel out. Does that make sense or no?
Wait, Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Are you, so can you not use, can you only use the table for justification? You can, or can you say the slope goes from decreasing to increasing?
Table is the best justification because you cannot calculate just the slope. You have to take account into endpoint as well. Because the absolute maximum can occur at an end or minimum. So you have to actually physically plug in to get a minimum value. So at 4, what happened? You're going to get 9 over 2, which is all those things above x-axis here. And here is going to be, it's not 2 minus pi, it's 2 minus pi over 2. So it'll be 4.5 to 4.5, it'll be 6.5. So 6.5 minus pi over 2. But turns out that's not lower than that. So a negative 4 is the lowest. So negative 4 is the lowest. So, and they say they want a value. So you can say value. You can say absolute value equal to negative 1. Does that make sense?
On the test, are we going to have to use like a table for justification?
Yes.
Okay.
On the test, please use table to justification because you cannot just say when they cross x-axis because minimum maximum value can occur at an endpoint. So table is the best justification. You don't even need to write down any words. You can say it's table. Look at the table, justification, look at the table.
So what if it just says the minimum value and it doesn't include the endpoints? So would we still need to do a table then?
No, then that won't call it absolute. If an absolute has to have intervals.
So if it's if it asks for like a relative minimum, could you say like the slope changes?
Yes, if it's as relative minimum,
Doesn't matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter the endpoint. They didn't look at the endpoint. Relative, like absolute is absolute in this interval.
Yeah.
But relative is just as the dip.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer for that would be
Negative 1.
right?
Yep. Because they asked you for value, they didn't ask where did it occur. You can say occur at negative 4, but value is negative 1. Okay. And then they say when there's an inflection point, there are a few. It's basically when the f of g double prime of x is equal to f prime of x, which is slope change sign at x equal to negative 3, x equal to 1, x equal to 2. So there are a few points here. And it has to changing from positive to negative or negative to positive. So at 0 does not count. Am I going too fast? It's understandable? Okay. So yeah, so this is the actual AP exam. So what are you going to get? You're going to get 1 point for here, 1 point for here. 1 point for here, 1 point here, 4 points. You're going to 1 point here and 1 point here, I believe. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And justification, which is table. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 8, 9. So you're going to get 9 points here. And if you get 9 points here, guess what? You'll 1/4 away from getting a 4, or getting a 3.
So if you got full points on this, you like already have 25% of your way to 3.
Yep. It's very easy. That's why I said this packet, you have to understand every detailed things. If you understand every detailed thing, you're doing great. Other question you want me to go over that you have a question about? Yes.
Why wouldn't it matter when looking at the minimum or maximum if there's a sharp turn in one?
Which particular question? I don't know which one you're calling for.
It's like, I don't remember which graph it was.
You had to tell me which one, which is specific one. I will say, if you're asking slope at a particular point, sometimes it can be undefined. Minimum maximum is usually how they cross x-axis. So, usually the derivative cross x-axis. So you don't have that similar issue. But I don't know any particular question you want me go over.
Like with 9, it curves and then it goes like straight up.
Which particular questions?
Like
B. Okay. So the maximum value occur at around 8. Just because if you have area here, and I'm gonna use the blue to adding, so this is gonna be 9 pi over 4, I believe, and this gonna be 15 over 2, I believe. So just adding. After this point, it's all subtracting because of below x-axis. So only occur at this point, which is at 8. So now you feel better, Sydney? Like APSM have some easy questions, but it's just conceptually it's kind of like, yeah, conceptually it's hard, but it's okay. It's hard for a lot of students, believe it or not. Just because we go through a lot of examples, it makes it easier for you guys.
I'm looking forward to this part. Everything else, no thank you.
Any questions here? What time we get out here?
9, 10.
Okay, so we're gonna go over this question. Number 6. A lot of people have problem with this one, and they didn't understand what is going on. So we're gonna go through it by detail. And some of you guys even look at the answer sheet that they are wrong. So what happened is, this is a very, very good question, because this is the first time they give you a boundary is not just x. Okay, so it's just not x makes the problem twice as hard, I think. So then I'm going to start by first questions. I'm going to start by h of 4. H of 4 is equal to the integration 2 times 4 2 times 4 minus 2 of 0 of ft, right? So it would be h of 4 is equal to between 8 to 0 of ft. Oh, it's not 8, 6. I can add. I fail at AP counting. So at 6. So at 6, basically, so now we just need to learn how to do AP counting. I'm actually serious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this one, those two is going to give you 9. This one's going to give you 10. This one's going to give you, oh, not, wait, 9, 10. Did I count wrong? 1, 2. Oh, I don't count this part, sorry. This part will cancel out. This part is here. This part will cancel out between this part and this part. Do you see that canceling part? Because we all the way to 6, and that part cancel out. Does that make sense? So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is going to be 0.5. So the answer is H4 is going to be 10.5. So sometimes you don't have to count something just because the area is actually cancelled out. How about H prime of 4? Well, H prime of 4, now this one is one of the harder questions. The problem is what's H prime of x first. So let's say H of x is equal to 0 to the 2x minus 2 of ft dt. If I take an integration of that, it's going to be big F of 2x minus 2. Does that make sense? Minus f of 0. Does that make sense? And then if I take a derivative of that, it's going to be small f of 2x minus 2 times 2. That's what throw people off. Minus f of 0 times 0. So this part is going to go away. So then it's going to be f of 2x minus 2 times 2 of h of prime of 4. So then I just plug in 4, so it'll be 2 times f of 6. F of 6 is going to give me negative 2, so it'll be 2 times negative 2. Why is that negative 2? Because it's right here. It's negative 2. Is this confusing?
No. I was just saying.
It's okay? Okay, so for B, they say what's decreasing? Decreasing happen in two regions. One is this region here, and one's this region here. But one of the region, I don't think it's gonna entirely count. But it happened at this point, 5 and 8. Oh, I didn't do H prime of 4, H double prime of 4 yet. H double prime of 4 is gonna be 2 times f prime of 2x minus 2 times 2. So it'll be 4 times f prime of 2x minus 2. This is the hardest question they can give it to you. I've never seen question this difficult of FRQ. Not for this part, for this fundamental theorem calculus. So it'll be 4 times f prime of 6. Now the problem is that f prime of 6, there was a sharp turn. This is a turning point. It's sharp turn, so therefore the derivative does not specifically define at that particular case. So that's undefined. Does that make sense? Really, really hard 3 points. Really, really, really hard. Got it? Now, for what value is h decreasing? Decreasing is between x equal to 5, x equal to 8, but that's the f of x functions. So that's only if this part is equal to 5. So therefore, you have to evaluate for that. So x equal to 7 over 2 and x equal to 5. So they are 7 over 2 to 5, and that's decreasing. Because you cannot just find out the x at 5. It's not 5 to 8, which is most people put. But it's 5 to 8 if inside is 5 to 8. There's 2x minus 2 is equal to 5, and 2x minus 2 is equal to 8. Does that make sense?
So for like questions like this where it doesn't give you like the integrals go to like 0 to x, it's like a function. You have to plug in the value you get from the graph into that function to get your answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question about this part. So that's what makes this question kind of hard. For what value between 1 to 5 has local maximum? Local maximum is when they cross from positive to negative. which has happened at 5, which is 5, 2x minus 2 is equal to 5, so x equal to 7/2. So that's where the maximum is, because it went from positive to negative. Because f of x change from positive to negative. Now, the second question is going to be at 8, right? Because that's a minimum or here. And some people says, is a maximum at, no, maximum is only 1. Minimum there are 2. But the problem is only one that's in the interval 2 to 6 is at 8. So 8 is equal to 2x minus 2. So it'd be 10 equal to 2x, x equal to 5. So this one's actually not none, it's at x equal to 5. How do you justify are they increasing or decreasing between 0 to half? So you're going to look at the h prime of x, h prime of 0. So it'll be 2 times f of negative 2. What's the f of negative 2? What's the f of negative 2? Negative 2 times the negative 1, right?
I think so.
So it'd be negative 2. If I plug in half, what am I going to get? That's going to be 2 times what? F of what? Negative 1? Because that's going to plug in that. It's going to be at 0. So the whole time went from negative 2 to 0, so therefore it's decreasing. And that is the answer to come up with. Because you said h prime of x is negative in this region, and that's how you justify this particular questions. And again, this is a fundamental theorem at the hardest.
So when you do that one, you just take, like, once again, you just plug it back in, and if the value comes out as negative, it's decreasing because you found h prime, which is the slope.
Yeah, because the whole time here is decreasing, right?
Okay.
Stay here. For 16,
Mm-hmm.
you said it's from 3.5 to 5. But there's also that little part from -2 to -1, which is also below the x-axis. So
Oh yeah, let's go look at it. There might be, yeah, there's more. Good call. So it'll be, so we're gonna go back to answer B in fully because they are this region right here. I forgot this part. So it'll be -2. So it'll be 2x minus 2 is equal to -2, right? And then 2x equal to 0, x equal to 0. 2x -2 is equal to -1. So 2x equal to 1, x equal to 1/2. So it'd be 0 to 1/2. Yeah. Yeah, and actually B is going to be the same answer as E, right?
Wait.
They are the repeated questions. Wait, what?
I was just gonna ask if that counted because like when it gives you the boundaries, it's like x is like greater than 0, not greater than or equal to. So could you still use that?
Oh, yeah, that's greater than 0. That's not including 0, so it's fine. 0 to 1/2, yeah. Any question on this particular one?
How are you supposed to tell if it's like, for the brackets especially, if it's just like a parentheses or if it's like simply a bracket? How do we tell which one?
Usually use parentheses unless it's something that's really, really, like, because you usually don't want to include it. If that part is 0, then 0 is not really decreasing. So one other example, 0 is not really decreasing, so I won't use bracket unless it's really for sure it's like negative or positive.
Okay,